this morning we are, of course, looking forward to Bafana Bafana having an early start on Friday out in Kampala when their important match against Uganda kicks off at 3 p.m. And also the men's cricket team will play the fourth and final T20 International match against India at the Wanderers. And to look at these two important fixtures, we've roped in award-winning journalist Khanyiso Tshwaku. Khanyiso, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Good morning to you. And I want to start the discussion by just speaking on Coach Hugo Broos. He needs 2 points out of a possible 6 going up against Uganda away from home and then South Sudan out in Cape Town. The coach is so confident that he can get this job done that he said, if I don't get it done, I'm getting on a flight, I'm going back to Belgium, you'll never see me again. What do you make of these two upcoming qualifiers?
Look, I mean, he's got 2 bites at the cherry. There's the bite at Kampala on Friday at 3 p.m. Then there's another bite in Cape Town against South Sudan. So I think the long and the short of it is that the job is actually quite straightforward, that if he can't do the job in Kampala, he has to do it in Cape Town. And I mean, Bafana played this team. Has actually played themselves into a position where qualifying is actually very much possible, and it very much remains in their hands. I think it will be much easier for them if they actually go and win in Kampala. I mean, they've actually shown that they have an ability to win on the road. They have won in Juba. They did draw in Brazzaville. So winning away from home isn't quite a difficult task for them. But I guess to actually have future plans, especially with looking with the players they want to trial for the World Cup qualifiers, it becomes important for them to win on Friday to ensure that he actually does have an opportunity to actually test some new players on Tuesday in Cape Town.
And you speak about these new players. We see a new inclusion coming into the squad, and Sage Stevens, who goes into goals for Bafana Bafana alongside Super Chain and Ronwen Williams. And we also see Evidence Makgopa making his comeback into the national team. What do you make of these inclusions?
I mean, Sage Stevens has been magnificent for Stellenbosch. And one needs to remember that he's an example of a player, especially with goalkeepers, where goalkeepers tend to get better with age. I still remember watching Stage in his early days at Amazulu, where you could see that there's a fair bit of talent, but also the queue at the time was very long. So again, is an example of a player who's been patient, has bided his time, worked on his performance, and is getting the due rewards now, especially playing for a club that's performing like Stellenbosch FC. In Evidence Makgopa's case, Evidence was a very key part of Bafana Bafana's performance at the African Cup of Nations. Yes, injuries have slowed him down. He didn't quite get the relevant opportunities from at club level. But again, for Hugo Broos, he's a tried and tested player, performed when it truly mattered at AFCON. So he actually knows what he has at Evidence Makgopa. So even though Evidence hasn't played much at club level, I think Hugo has enough to know that it has worked with him enough to know that once Evidence gets on a roll for Bafana Bafana, he'll then be able to transfer it down to club level.
Indeed, but we have also seen him starting to make the starting 11 for Orlando Pirates in the past couple of fixtures. But Khanyiso, let's move on to the cricket and talk about this T20 series South Africa has up against India, level at 1-1 at the moment. Can the Proteas wrap it up in what many say are more favourable conditions out at SuperSport Park and then Wanderers against this Indian side?
A lot of that will hinge on the ability to play spin. Remember that of the 17 wickets that South Africa have lost in this particular series, 12 of them have fallen to spin. We saw how well Varun Chakravarti bowled in Durban and in Gqeberha. You'd find that Ravi Bishnoi didn't get quite the rewards for its excellent bowling in Gqeberha, but he bowled well in Durban. So spin has been a problem. Marco Jansen did admit to the fact that at yesterday's press conference that they haven't played spin as well as they've liked, but also playing on the high felt, there will be a different challenge for spin. But one also needs to remember that when India lost to India, they played a T20 at the Wanderers. Kuldeep Yadav took 5 wickets. So again, just because South Africa are playing on the high field doesn't mean that now the spin threat is actually neutralized. So it becomes very important for South Africa to have very firm combat plans to deal with Varun Chakravarti and Ravi Bishnoi. Yes, they've already shown that they have an ability to play off guys like Avesh Khan, Arshdeep Singh and Hardik Pandya, but dealing with spin will probably be the difference for South Africa if they want to win the series.
And you look at South Africa wanting to win this series, and we look at the players that Coach Rob Walters has brought into the side. What do you make of the quality of these players that he's got out in this T20 side?
If you look at this series is probably the first step towards the 2026 T20 World Cup. I think people shouldn't be shocked if Rob Walters actually uses pretty much the same players for the Pakistan T20 series, because there would have been 6 T20s down the line. Would have to start to paint a picture for him in terms of who are the players that he needs to take forward heading into that particular series. I mean, if you look at India already tried a team that is probably the one that they'll want to defend. They'll need to defend the T20 World Cup, because if you look at a guy like Ravi Jadeja will be 38 by the time that particular World Cup comes around. So the guys like Ravi Bishnoi, Varun Chakravarti, and other spinners will be getting an opportunity along the line, become important, like Abhishek Sharma's. Surya Kumar Yadav's captaincy will probably evolve over the next year and a bit. So not just for Rob Walton in particular, but for Gautam Gambhir, there is a need to evolve the teams to build up for future tournaments. And I mean, if you look at a guy like Gutos Pamla, was training very well yesterday, you find that he may be also in line to get an opportunity there. So there's a wider squad of players who need to be tried and tested before the World Cup plans truly come together by the end of next year.
Oh, Khanyiso, it's always such a pleasure just getting those pearls of wisdom coming through from you. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
All right, so that is Khanyiso Tshwaku, award-winning sports journalist, analyst and commentator. Of course, just looking forward to Bafana Bafana taking on Uganda on Friday at 3 p.m. That will be live on SABC 1. And of course, the cricket. Today, it's the third T20 between the Proteas as well as India, and that will also be on SABC 3.